So it's a long passage. Most things dealing with legalities are. The case, and we've got the appeal, and we've got the testimony that nobody wants to listen to, right? Much of what this passage is about, I think, I mean, in the literal sense, we have that it's about sight, what we see in our perspective. And I think the entire passage overall is really about perspective spiritually. So we have this thing in our house. If I can't find something, it's probably in front of me. So I go ask her, can you see this? And she'll come look in the exact same spot I've looked 12 times. And lo and behold, she'll find it. And vice versa. So our genius child, yesterday, on the way home from a little foray with her friends, was walking along Carly's Trail in Interior House Park and managed somehow to lose her house keys. They're on a lanyard around her neck. And her and her friends got to the house and realized, oh my gosh, we don't have the keys. And they went back and they searched where they had been. The keys. We got home because we were out on a little shopping trip. And it's like, okay, we're gonna have dinner, we're gonna go to the park. And sometimes when you look in the dark with a flashlight, it's easier to find stuff because you're not distracted by the entire field, right? You're looking just where your flashlight shines. We did not find the keys. This morning, we dropped off our van at the U-Haul Evening Treat every time. We had a little time to kill in between there. So on the way home, I said to Curly, why don't you drop me off at the end of the trail and I'll walk through the park again and I'll see you, because it's daylight now. And maybe a different perspective will reveal those lost keys. We still don't have any keys. But it's not really the point. The point is, you look in the same place sometimes, but you do it with a different perspective. And what you see is different because of that perspective, right? So, all of us have probably had a similar experience in having a good friend, and maybe it's when you were a kid, or as an adult, or whatever. But you've had this person that you like and you're close to, maybe you're not best friends, you're just good friends, right? And something happens and you disagree with each other. And it might be an argument, or it might just be like, wow, I didn't know they thought that way. And your perspective of that person shifts somewhat, right? And that's not a good or a bad thing, it's just reality. But what happens next is important. So Jesus has healed this man who was blind from birth. And his disciples are trying to figure this all out. Because they're like, well, if something bad happens to somebody, it's because they did something wrong. Or maybe their parents did something wrong and they're cursed for it. And so they say to him, you know, who was it that sinned? Him or his parents? And he's like, this is not about sin. He's not being punished for having sinned. It's something that just happened to him. But God's glory is going to get it.
It's a miracle too.
Yeah. But don't we sometimes feel that way? Something bad happened. I wonder what they did to deserve it. Somebody's in jail. I wonder what they did. They must not be as good a person as I thought. Do you have any idea how many innocent people are in jail? Or how many people are in jail and have been given 4 to 5 times longer than the person next to him because they're a darker skin? Or that, despite the fact that it's unconstitutional, we are now sending people to jail for debt because they couldn't pay a bill. We now have debtors' prisons again. Someone's in jail. I wonder what they did. Somebody's living in an area of town or in a kind of house or housing that doesn't look anything like your middle class stereotypical television show. They must not be working very hard. They live in this crummy, rundown apartment. Or they live in this really sketchy neighborhood, mobile home. trailer? Must be lazy. And yet they may be working 3 jobs. The poor are not poor because they're lazy. The poor are poor because they don't have any money. That's what's made you poor in our society. And you can work 3 jobs and still not make more than enough to live in that trailer. And yet some guy may work 5 hours a week and play golf on the weekends and have more money than most people. If we really paid people what they were worth, there are a whole lot of women in Africa carrying water and wood on their heads that would be millionaires. We do not pay people based on the value of their job. We pay people based on a bunch of crazy stuff we have decided is important. Like, oh, hitting a baseball.
Throwing the footballs.
Throwing a football.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Our perspective on things sometimes needs to be checked. So-and-so can't be worth much because, you know, they haven't done anything major and important in their lives. I've never heard their name before. They haven't had 15 minutes of fame. How cool can they be? Except, you know, maybe they invented something that saved somebody's life for the medical advance, right? But we have all these ways that we think we see the world in the right way. And God says, check your perspective, because mine's different. And here's the thing, here's our job, I think, as Christians, is that we need to shift our perspective so that our perspective and God's matches. When you go to the eye doctor, they have this big machine, and you know, you stick your head in there in that really weird position that's completely unnatural. And they have all these little lenses. And they start switching, and they're way too fast for me. So I'm like, I can't process what I just saw. I can't tell you which is clearer, right? But they're switching it around. Is that clearer or not? Better? Worse? Right? They're just like zipping through, right? They're trying to check to see which perspective is clearest for your eyes, right? Well, we have lenses too. And the lens for us as people of faith is Scripture. So when we open our Bible, it's like, oh, golf glasses. That helps me to see things in a different way. It helps me to see you in a different way. So that I don't want to ground you for the rest of your life because you lost your keys. It helps me to see my wife in a different way. So that when we disagree about something, she doesn't right, then I'm still able to say, but I love you. And it's okay, because whatever it is, we're going to get over it. Because we're stuck with each other. That's how it works in our house. Right? We put on our lenses through the Scripture, and when we look at each other, all of a sudden we see each other differently. So that person that I've been friends with, and maybe we've had a disagreement, and it's like, that's not who I thought they was. But if I look through God's lens, all of a sudden I'm like, no, they're not who I thought they was. And that's okay. Because they're still really, really cool. And I just like them in a different way now. Or maybe I like them more, because of what I learned. Or maybe I'm like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. And yet, they're the same child of God that I loved the day before. We were talking on the way here today, in fact, that, you know, I've only been wearing glasses for like 2 years. I was born with really good vision. When I went to the doctor when I was about 40, maybe a little younger than 40, they did an eye test and they said, you're 20/20, and I'm like, really? Is this how people see all the time? People see? Because I'd always had way better than 20/20. All right, and now I've got to wear glasses. So we're talking about, you know, would surgery fix this and restore vision? Maybe, I don't know, we'll check it out, right? Because vision to me is very important because I read nonstop, right, all the time. So vision's important to me. But none of what I see with these eyes is as important as what I see with God's eyes.